few days ago, I picked some peaches. I can't believe how many actually got off my tree. I didn't think it was going to be a very good peach year. I thought I had, half a dozen. Enough to make a cobbler, which I did. And I have this many left. Today, they have finally turned soft. They were pretty hard. They're kind of small. I've had some bug damage. They're not going to be good for just, grabbing a peach and eating it. They're going to need a little attention. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash them all up. I'm going to take them over to the table and set in my comfy chair, and we're going to kind of cut through and save the good parts, and then the not so appetizing parts I'll send to my chickens, and I know they're going to love that. But that way I still get some peach stuff from my peach trees that I have lovingly grown from my very self. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to bring my friends along with me as I work these peaches. Thought you guys might like to enjoy being a part of that. And let's work some peaches together. Just going to give these a quick rinse with some cool water. Knock off any spots. See, they're not perfect. They've got some bruising from when I knocked them off the tree. Looks like a bug may have been there at one point. But they're not bad. They just need love. For example, this one looks like it probably had some rust. That's a problem in my area. We get it on the apples here too. I didn't do any spraying this year. Everything was completely organic, more by loss of time than anything else. I'm just rinsing these, and I'll put them in a tray, and we'll head over to the kitchen table when we get the tray full. Okay, I have my peaches here beside me, and I've got my setup, and we are at the kitchen table. Many of you have seen me here before. This is where I do my lives a lot of times, and I just thought I'd go ahead and bring you along with me while I prepare these peaches. I'm going to zoom in so you can see my hands and not necessarily my face. Too much work and too much effort to keep the plants alive, and so we're going to work these. And you're probably wondering, why do I not have any canning jars with me? Well, that's because these are white peaches, and I'll never forget the first time I tried a white peach. I was with my friend. You've probably heard me talk about her several times. We learned to kind of can together. We'd been around it all our lives, but never, on our own. And we got so excited that we started making jams and jellies and all kinds of different things. And there were some white peaches on a bulk sale at the grocery store. You buy a box, you get the reduced rate. And so we did that, and we made a white peach jam. So nothing happened to us. We had the jam, and we were fine. But it has later come to my attention that you do not want to can with white peaches. They don't have, I believe it's the same acidity level as what your yellow peaches have. And so, we learn from our mistakes, and thankfully no one got sick, probably because it was jam and there was so much sugar in there that's probably what saved us on this one. But as far as just canning peaches to have canned peaches, I like to use the yellow flesh peaches for that. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to freeze these. And when I have space available to me, I will probably freeze dry them also. I did that last year, and it really brings out the tartness of the white peach. It's amazing. These peaches are soft. They've been on my counter a few days, and so they are going to have full flavor. I did this on purpose to wait for that to happen. I could have easily peeled them while they were harder, and it would have maybe looked better, and it might have been a little bit easier, but I wanted to catch these peaches when they were in the highest point of flavor I could get. I think that this, if I can, this time I'm going to do peach halves. That way, if I want to, say, grill them or do something like that with them, I can. We'll see. We'll see how this works out. I may end up just slicing them like I normally do. There might be too many bad spots, but you know what? You can work around those spots and you can still have a lot of fruit put up for the winter. I wouldn't say this is free fruit because I did work hard. I mean, it took effort to plant the trees. I babied them for a while. You know, I went out and watered them. I fertilized them. I did all the things in the beginning. And now I'm just kind of reaping the benefits of these fruit. But I don't forget that I did that. So I don't want this to go to waste. And this will definitely help my budget for sure. So I'm just going to carefully kind of go through the fruit and pick out the bad spots. And you can see we have some bruising here, so I'll just cut this out. And this part, you know, my animals will not mind one bit. This looks like this may have been a spot where an insect had gotten in early. I didn't spray this year, and so there is that chance that that happened, and it did. So I was lucky. I beat the Japanese beetles. I picked these when they were still a little hard, hoping to be able to get some fruit. So I have this container that has a 4-cup mark. A lot of recipes call for 4 cups. So I do like using this to my measuring cup rather than a big bowl and then measuring it back out. And I'm also hoping this will keep it from turning brown because I do not have any fresh fruit on hand to keep them from turning brown. So I'm going to try to, you know, get a bag ready, stick it in the freezer, and then that way it doesn't have a chance to do that. Because I can always freeze dry this later. I can always make a pie with this later. White peaches really are for fresh eating. Now, look at all that fruit. It was still good on that half. We had to cut out a few pieces, but there is still a lot of good fruit left on that. I can remember as a kid setting and peeling like an apple or really any piece of fruit, but usually it was kind of a thing with apples. And we would try to find all the different ways to angle how we would peel so that we could get the whole fruit in one peel. And that was always kind of fun thing to do. These are definitely delicious, yummy peaches. If you remember last year, I picked peaches and worked them with Buddy Luke. And that was a lot of fun. I'll try to insert that video. He took a taste of it right off the tree and it was so juicy it just dribbled down his chin. That's the best way to eat fruit when it's been sun-kissed like that. Another thing I could do with keeping these as peach halves is to make dumplings. Oh, you know that friend I was telling you about who I learned to can with? Well, her grandmother also shared her apple dumpling recipe, and it is so good. I should try it with peaches. Peaches are my favorite fruit. I planted 2 different peach trees. I have this one and then I have another one because I wanted some for canning. And I thought I was going to get a few peaches, but evidently one of the thunderstorms we had early in the year must have knocked all the fruit off because the very few that I thought I had are no longer there. But then I was blessed with a much bigger harvest off this tree than I originally thought, so I'm happy to have it. Now you might be wondering to yourself, why is she peeling these peaches? Why isn't she just blanching them? Well, honestly, I'm not canning them, and so I'm not worried about the, you know, when you can peaches, you can raw pack them, but if you go ahead and blanch them first, the skins will just pop right off, and then it takes some of the air out so you don't lose as much space in your jar. But as we've already discussed, I am not canning these. So I'm going to be freezing them for a very short term. If you want to freeze these to have for 6, 9, 12 months, you probably should go ahead and blanch them. But white peaches are just a little different. I have my peach halves, and then I've started working on peach chunks. I'm just saving myself a step today. But by all means, if you want to blanch your peaches, do it. I need to rinse my sticky hands. So I'm going to grab myself a freezer bag, and I want to make sure I label it, because you do forget sometimes. So I have put on the date, what it is. Now I'm going to put it in this little bag holder gadget. I have an older one and a newer one. My older one, it tends to just kind of go plop. So let's hope that this is the newer one. I've tried using this for putting up corn, and sometimes it works better than others. I've got this a little above the 4-cup mark, so I'm going to pick out the ones that didn't really make full halves. There, that's a little better. And we'll just slide these right down. Oh, see, this must be the one. There we go. Put these right down in the bag. Juice and all. Whoop. And pull out as much air as I can. Seal this up and put in the freezer. Oh dear, the freezer is full. Well, we got at least one in.